It is Raw Ball Monday.
We're
Oh,
just
what a
one
weekend it has
short
been.
today. We are just one short today, but that's because Devin here is dealing with some bank issues. Wish him the best. Hopefully, this gets resolved soon.
Hacker issues. I mean, everybody has bank issues. He dealt with some hacking issues and not hacking cough.
Yeah. So if you're if
But
you're if you're watching the show and you hack Devin's account, go fuck yourself.
yeah, that goes double for me. But anyway, we are here, got plenty to discuss.
It's WrestleMania week, baby.
Oh,
Whoa, WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. Bring it back, Hunter.
Hey, speaking of, apparently he's approved of a new world title design. So I'm really
Yes.
interested for post Mania now.
So what I've heard is, yes, he has approved a new title design, and he's wanting to retire the Universal Belt. Uh,
Which, thank God,
yeah,
I did
retire,
not like that fucking blue strap at all, and I hated it even more when it was a red strap.
retire it. Ah, David here.
You beautiful bastard.
Yeah, let's retire that damn thing and just bring back Winged Eagle or Big Goldie.
Now I'd even be okay with, the 2000 to 2008 era undisputed title, the one that Brock held.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. I didn't mind that one. But will the new title make the product any better?
It'll make it
It'll,
better to look at.
yeah, it'll be
Aesthetics
better to.
aesthetics means something at least.
Yeah, I mean, yes, belts are props, but they have to be nice looking props.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, our lead story today, before we get into anything, Lamar Jackson has officially requested. I think that's why Dev skipped out. He just didn't want to deal with the shame of Lamar Jackson announcing he wants to be
Well,
traded.
he announced this apparently, or like he announced this on Twitter today, but apparently he put in his request damn near 30 days ago.
And the Ravens haven't really been budging. Um,
And right now, all eyes are looking at the Colts. If Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young go in the top three, the Colts are probably trading for Lamar.
I think that would definitely be an interesting move. I could definitely see Lamar being. I mean, he would be an upgrade from whatever they've had since Andrew Luck. Because people forget that Lamar is a damn good quarterback. Yes, he's had some hitches in his giddy up here and there, so
My
to
only
speak.
issue is his arm. He doesn't have the best arm, but one thing he is fucking accurate.
Yes, he's accurate and he can move.
Yeah, so you don't really need like a cannon arm like a Josh Allen if you can, zip the ball in there every 20 yards or so.
I think he instantly would help anyone.
Would he
David,
make would
no,
he
let's not
oh
help New England out.
no, 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 he would not look nice in New England, David. Y'all got Mac Jones. He's doing great for you.
Well, apparently, I mean, I wouldn't really consider this breaking news, but apparently there is a lot of angst among Patriots fans, and Bill Belichick responded, just look at the last 25 years, which makes sense.
Belichick, are you really going to start bitching now? Are you really going
Yeah.
to start complaining now? Look at him.
Oy, oy, oy.
But yeah, no, Lamar, I can see him as a Colt. Does he make okay? You said he makes any team he goes to better. Does he make
Yeah,
any team he goes to a playoff contender? Like if he goes to the Colts, are they a playoff contender?
borderline. Uh,
If Jonathan Taylor is healthy and they have Lamar at the same time, that is a terrifying duo just running the ball.
yeah, I mean, he makes them a borderline playoff team. If it's someone like Atlanta, I think Atlanta's just past help.
Well, Atlanta's got some weapons, then they're all younger. So that would be good for Lamar. Build a team around his age and something like that.
Well, and let's also not forget Aaron Rodgers to the Jets is not a done deal.
It's still not complete. We still
So
have no idea if Rodgers is going to be a Jet this season. Or is he just going to get fed up with all this shit and just retire?
at this point, he may do that because this thing is taking way longer than it should.
We've got a month exactly until the NFL draft. This deal has to be done before the draft.
I would say so. It's just with A Raj, and this is where I feel the pain of Grossi of just dealing with this and being a Packer. Uh, it, Packers fans have to be tired of this because they've been through this now twice in the last 20 years. Favre and Rodgers basically holding the team hostage. But that's about, yeah. Go ahead.
Actually, I did get a little bit of news just now.
Uh-huh.
Deion Sanders has allowed Stephon Gilmore to wear number 21 for the Cowboys as the cornerback for the Cowboys.
Well, good on Deion. I've always liked
Coach Prime.
I've always liked prime time. What was it we were discussing over the weekend while you were hanging out down here? It was something about what are the Broncos gonna like? Are they gonna make some moves to get some more draft pieces, or are they just content to?
The two pieces that it looks like the Broncos are most willing to trade, and you keep telling me it's a good idea for them to do it, is Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. I see that
one of them.
If I was about to say, if we trade one of them, we can get a couple good draft picks during this year's draft. I hate to say it, we'd probably get a lot more for Jerry Jeudy. Like we might get a second rounder or a first rounder for Jeudy just because he's got that type of production.
I don't know if you get a first for him. I think
depending on the quarterback. Sutton has been consistently solid for us, other than the injury season.
I mean, right now you don't have a pick until the third round. I would trade one to get a pick in the second round.
Yeah, and
just to give yourself some draft. Now, granted, this is not the deepest draft this year, but you don't want to have to. I'm saying this because
tight end.
the Broncos need help. They need pieces, and the further down in the draft you get, the less the less talent you're dealing with, the less likely those pieces are to work out. But at the same time, hey, if the Broncos want to just suck, I'm fine with that because my Raiders are going to be god awful.
Hey, you guys will at least have third place this year, above the Chargers, because we're winning the NFL Super Bowl. We're winning the Super Bowl this year. But yeah, other than that, there really wasn't a whole lot of NFL news for us to discuss. But I feel like there's something that we kind of just need to get out of the way and off our chest.
Yeah, let's get it out there. Well, let's get it out of there, and then we'll get it.
I don't know what the fuck is going on in XPW. We can't show the clip.
I don't want to see it. Once was enough.
That'll get our asses kicked off of YouTube, maybe permanently. But apparently, and we were talking about this, like with deathmatch wrestlers, you talk with your opponent before the match. You want to, schedule out what type of brutality you guys are going to do to each other to make sure that you're doing it safely.
Yes.
There was an XPW show this weekend, and somebody, I can't say somebody, there had to be at least 2 or 3 people that agreed to this backstage and went, yeah, let's put that in the ring.
Well, the 2 guys in the ring, and obviously
whoever the booker was.
whoever's booking, so that's at least 3 idiots.
So XPW deathmatch. I'm not even going to take the time to look up the wrestlers' names because at this point, I don't consider them wrestlers.
I consider them borderline human.
Like
To,
like at this, the XPW gives a terrible name to independent wrestling as a whole. Like with what it gives a horrible name to deathmatch wrestling for one. But the fact that I had to find out about this by indie wrestling trending and people shitting on indie wrestling for the needle to a cock in the middle of a ring.
yes.
Yeah, GCW, you'll see some cheek from time to time, but you're not going to see somebody insert a syringe into another human being's actual phallus.
I, I it leaves me speechless because again, the idiots who decided to go with this, it's like, where in here between, between the ears, where does one and one make two to make you think, oh, this is going to be a great spot? The
It
people are
got
going to,
people talking. It got people talking.
it's like people are going to pop for this spot. People are going to love this. This is going to be, it's like, yeah, people are going to be talking about this, but not in a good way.
The last thing I want to see, like, we are so far beyond like the over sexualization in wrestling. But this isn't even sexualization. This is putting fetish porn into a ring and having an arena of people or a bar of people pay to see this, thinking you're going to see wrestling.
I mean, like we were saying, is Terry Funk taking a syringe to the cock?
Terry Funk is looking you dead in the eyes. If you're bringing that idea over to Terry, Terry's going to look at you and go, "Get the fuck out of my promotion.
Oh
This
God!
ain't
Like,
the territory for you, boy."
this ain't the business for you. Like you said, if you want to go into fetish porn, hey,
You can make money with that.
booming industry, go right ahead. But yeah, if your whole idea of fun is to stick needles into your dick, I don't think being a pro wrestler is the right career choice for you. Ay, ay, ay.
This gives not just wrestling as a whole, but the kids and the people that are trying to make names for themselves, get their abilities and talent out to the world. This gives such a bad name to the independent wrestling circuit, and hence why I do not consider XPW a wrestling promotion no longer. if you if you as the booker are confident enough that you can show an audience of people someone's dick, you know,
With a syringe hanging out of it. Maddie, when was the last time you stuck a syringe in your dick, or the last time a doctor did that to you?
never. And the time that a doctor would get close to it, probably never going back to the doctor. And thank you, Dave. I Yeah. The body is one hell of a name for a man that got stabbed in the penis with a syringe. But in the words of Jeff Dunham, moving on.
Well, I was going to say, in terms of people, stabbing their fans in the dick, looking at uh, what happened with the fantasy baseball draft, we didn't stab anybody in the dick. Some hearts were broken because some people didn't get the players they wanted.
I don't have my full team of sexy mustaches and Japanese people.
Yeah, again, I think that's why Dev skipped out because he didn't want to catch the Yoshida hell.
I'm still trying to get Yoshida from you, D.
So the first ever RAWBall fantasy baseball draft happened. Dave participated in it. Y'all saw him here on Saturday. Uh,
Thank you so
it,
much for being with us, Dave. That was so much fun.
There's a lot of it was great fun, and we definitely need to get Dave on again because I want to pick that gentleman's brain,
Well, shit,
baseball wise.
Dave, are you going to be available WrestleMania weekend? We'd love to
If
have you on
so,
for one of
we
the
might have
WrestleMania.
room for you. But well, let's see. Dev's not here. Let's go ahead and pull Dev's team up. And
Evan's got a solid fucking team.
so he got Real Muto and Contreras at catcher, not bad. Lindor, Adames, Javi Baez. He got Arenado and Goldie, which upset Maddie.
It only upset me because they've been so consistent.
His outfield is pretty stacked. He's got Judge, Betts, and Yoshida.
It's ridiculous. That is absolutely why.
See here, I'm curious if it'll show how much he paid for Judge.
I believe it was 76.
72.
72.
So yeah, Aaron Judge going for 72. Arenado went for 61. Let's look at his pitching staff. Max Scherzer, Shane McClanahan, Louis Castillo. Got Gallegos in his pen. Yeah, I mean,
pitching might be an issue for him this season, but at least
he's got a lot of what ifs on that pitching staff.
Could come out to be a good season.
And then let's see here. I'm looking for Kevin Youkilis's batting stance.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, agreed, Dave. So I have been playing fantasy baseball now since 2008. I have seen many an odd, out of the ordinary draft strategy. I have never seen anyone go with the Japanese sexy stash strategy. For the benefit of those such as myself who have never seen this before, explain to us the Japanese sexy stash strategy.
Well, well, to be fair, I went into this season expecting to throw most of my money at Ohtani. I threw $100 at Ohtani to make sure nobody else would get him. I feel that was a very solid strategy. So, what better way to support Ohtani than by bringing his fellow countrymen out? And what better way to make those younger Japanese talent feel comfortable than with a bunch of hard body looking motherfuckers with sexy mustaches?
You are giving the Los Angeles Angels bad ideas.
But yeah, no. So I've got the names like Shohei Ohtani,
Haesung Kim,
Maeda,
Seiya Suzuki.
I got the Japanese boys.
Jordan Yamamoto.
I don't even think he was Japanese. I think I just picked him up because David threw him up there.
Well, I'm looking at your team right now, and one thing that's could possibly hurt you early on. It was announced today that Carlos Rodon is going to start the year on the IL.
Yeah, that was a bad pick on my part.
He's likely. Well, we didn't know exactly. We didn't know if it was going to be 1 start, 2 starts, but apparently, it's going to be from what I was listening to Fantasy Baseball Today podcast from CBS. Great podcast to listen to, by the way. They come out daily. Apparently, it's looking like it's going to be a early May return for Rodon, because he hasn't really been throwing much yet. He's apparently not injured, hurting, but obviously you miss spring training. It's going to take a while to get yourself ramped up. But should there be no setbacks, you should get Rodon back. But you got Ohtani and Woodruff to hold things down. The rest of your rotation. But again, you've got the unicorn, and you can use Ohtani as a hitter and as a pitcher, depending on the day. Fernando Tatis Jr. suspended. What was it, 20? How many games is he suspended for?
24 or something like that. It's 20-something games.
Yeah, I'm trying to look here.
My bats got some power to them, though.
You got Yordi, you got Vladdy Jr., Uh,
Sal
Salvi's got
Perez.
some power. So
Hey,
there,
Newt Bar has some unexpected power too.
if he, I mean, he's projected to have an 806 OPS, which is not bad. Typically, anything, at least in fantasy, anything under, and you're kind of splitting hairs at this point, but you want at least 775 to 800 OPS. Past that, it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So if he at least delivers that 806 OPS or better, he shouldn't hurt you too bad unless he strikes out too much. And let's move here to, well, since we got him in here and we're missing a guy, let's look at the cleaner,
Let's go take a look
David.
at Dave. Which, by the way, it looks like we'll have Dave available for WrestleMania weekend.
Oh,
So Dave
well,
may be joining us.
our original guest fell through for that particular event, but we are presently in talks with a gentleman to join us at some point here on the show. We're not going to announce the name until it's official. We told you about Urinating Tree. Going to be on Thursday for the Stream Against Suicide.
You know what? You might have a point there, Dave.
Dave,
If he comes back and that shit shaved, I'm firing him.
you're going to DFA him, designate him for assignment.
Going to single A for a couple weeks.
So looking at Dave here, looks like a pretty balanced team. I like Harris, Ty France, Chisholm Jr. can give you some speed.
Let's point out, it took David like 50 rounds before he got his first player.
Dave was playing the waiting game. I will say I do like parts of his rotation and the bullpen here. Beaver and DeGrom. Should DeGrom stay healthy? Again, that's the thing with Grom, is him being healthy. It's he's entering his Clayton Kershaw phase, where you pretty much every year have to consider the fact that he's going to miss at least a third to a fourth of the season.
Yeah,
because it's just that's who DeGrom is now. He's at that point in his career. The Mets just meted him. Dave did get Tommy Edman. He was one of the guys I was interested in.
Tommy Edman is very, very good pick.
And then lastly, going to the Rat Bastards. I don't quite know what to make of my team at this point. I like pieces of it. Others I don't. I was talking to Maddie just before we went live. I'm looking at the waiver wire to see where I might be able to patch a few holes here. Adley Rutschman, I think, is going to build on his great rookie campaign.
Yeah, I was about to say, I saw a lot of people projecting him to be the best catcher of the year, maybe behind Real Muto.
Swiped Xander Bogaerts from Maddie. Got Rafi Devers from Maddie. That was yep. That was some fun. Luis Arias, who finished second for the AL batting title last year. Then my outfield, I do have Mike Trout, which again, Trout's one of those guys who's it's getting to the point where he can't stay healthy, but when he is healthy, he's arguably the best player in baseball. Then there's Giancarlo Stanton, Brandon Nimmo, Ian Happ, Alex Verdugo, who I am pretty high on. But
I hope he comes back with the rolly fingers. I really do, Dave. Or the Goose Gossage.
Oh, just the big
old Hulk Hogan.
biker, yeah. My pitching rotation, I like the top end. Corbin Burns, Sandy Alcantara, Zach Wheeler, Max Fried. That's a pretty good rotation to start the year off with. Romano for Toronto. I like him a fair amount. Merrill Kelly, Michael Kopech.
We talked about while I was over there is one of those guys that you're interested about?
I'm interested, but I have to separate fandom from fantasy. And while I want to see
Why
Michael
would you do
Kopech,
that? White Sox winning the World Series.
that's cute. No, we ain't win the World Series. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, you will.
I may be liquidating my shares of White Sox players on my team uh, before opening day because some of them I drafted because I was there. It was the end of the draft. I had to fill holes. I was down to very little money, but
Yeah,
Dave was
draft
playing.
day
Let you
was
guys spend
fun.
big chunks of your budget game. I honestly, I feel better about this draft personally than I have in years. Oh, well,
Miss Maggie May.
I feel better about this draft than I have in the last few years because I was able to stick to my strategy and I got a lot of the pieces I wanted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 of the 26 players on my team. So basically half of my team were guys I wanted.
Yeah,
So I'll take that a 50-50 split there because you can't get everybody and I'll take a 50-50 split there. I'm not going to complain too much.
I'm not even
Just
gonna lie. If my team does anything above like the top three, I'm gonna shit myself.
yeah, at this point, it's just be kind of a matter, I think, of patching some glaring holes, at least to my eye, and then seeing how the season plays out.
Yeah,
But
because once these guys take the field, it's all on them.
yeah, and well, it's also on their managers whose names I will, curse. Yeah, I will get very angry with baseball managers who mess with my guys, especially my pitchers, because the problem is baseball managers are all former hitters.
Mhm.
Hitters don't understand pitchers and how to manage a bullpen, how to manage a starting rotation, and that is why I get so angry because so many managers will throw the wrong guy out there from the pen in the wrong situation, or they'll leave a starter in too long, or they'll pull him too early. It's not to say that I know more than they do, but at the same time, they're messing with my life.
You're playing with my emotions, Smokey.
Oh God, I love that movie so much.
So that's most about of our draft. Uh, who do you who is projected? Like, does it have a projection of who might be the best team in the league? Or
Well, there is. I mean, I don't have it. Well, actually, I can pull it up here on the app here. I believe it has something in there that can show which.
oh, and Cap has froze. All right. Well, I will attempt to pull the weight of this show real quick. Um, yeah, that was the baseball draft. Whenever Cap comes back, we will talk more about that. Uh, while he's gone, I will offer you guys my Monday money parlay. Today we got 8 games in the NBA, couple games in the NHL. I only have a certain amount of characters, so I put together a 9-leg parlay, hopefully to make us some money today. We got the Clippers over the Bulls. We got the Timberwolves over the Kings. Pelicans over the Trailblazers. Nuggets over the 76ers. Suns over the Jazz. Knicks over the Rockets. The Mavericks over the Pacers. The Bucks over the Pistons. And in NHL, I have gone with the home team for me. We got the Avalanche beating the Ducks. I believe it was a 1-25 odds. So
I'm back. I'm not sure
welcome
what
back.
happened there,
I
but
did
yeah,
not either, but
it would take some time to look all that over. But
well, we can get into the next topic, which still staying in baseball would be our opening day outlook.
Yeah. So looking at opening day and kind of giving our predictions for the season, looking at, I guess we can start off with the AL East and see, what our thoughts are there. I'm sure Maddie's going to be releasing on Twitter his opening day parlay.
That the moment I am able to is the moment that parlay is thrown together, my friend.
I'm curious to see what happens with that opening day parlay. I'm guessing it's going to be heavy Rocky, heavy Red Sox.
No, it's actually going to be heavy home runs.
Ah,
I expect quite a bit of fireworks on opening day this year. I am saying there's going to be at least one home run per game opening day.
that's a pretty bold statement. Now you got to remember we're still in late March, and a lot of these teams play in colder climates,
Mm-hmm.
and typically colder weather, the ball doesn't fly. Because that's something you'll see every year, especially with the new baseballs they've been using. Uh, Typically, April and May, offense is going to be kind of low, and then once you get into the summer months, offense tends to tick up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, looking at the American League East, so we've got, and this is in no particular order, we've got Orioles, Red Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays. And I'm starting here because with David being here,
He is also a Red Sox fan.
but he's also in Canada, and he can give us a perspective on this. The one team I am having a lot of trouble figuring out my pick here is Toronto. I do not know where to put them here. I think it's going to be Yankees and the Rays finishing 1 and 2. After that, it gets a little. I don't quite know what to do with these other three teams. I could see Boston finishing in the cellar. I could see them finishing fourth or third. It's going to depend on them staying healthy. But Toronto, I can't figure out if they're going to compete with the Yankees and the Blue and the Rays. I never know about Tampa
Or
or probably
Toronto.
Toronto.
And with what David was saying too, is that Baltimore team is very sneaky.
Yes, Baltimore is sneaky because last year everybody had them pegged to be one of the absolute worst teams ever in the history of the game. They actually weren't. Uh, they played pretty well last
If I'm
year.
not mistaken, Broncos or the Red Sox were in the cellar last year.
Let me see
I
if I can
believe we were
find
the last team.
2022 standings. So yeah, the Red Sox finished in the cellar 78 and 84. Orioles 83 and 79. So the Orioles finished above 500, which
Yeah.
what the hell? The Orioles actually, let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of the 15 teams in the American League, the Orioles had the seventh most wins.
Okay, so they were literally like middle of the pack for the entire AL.
Yeah, and the only reason they literally missed out on going to the playoffs by 3 wins. Tampa Bay beat them out. So if they can do that well with what they had last year, Baltimore could be
They could
a
possibly
playoff.
be
They
number
could be a
2
playoff team this year
because
because
I think Tampa's taken the AL East this year. I think
you're
Tampa's
going with
gonna.
Tampa.
I think Tampa's. I think it's gonna be Tampa, either Baltimore or New York. Baltimore or New York at 2, and then whoever isn't 2 is gonna be 3. Toronto at 4, and unfortunately, my Red Sox down at the bottom.
Well, we did get to watch, and spring training games typically don't mean a needle to the
Hey,
dick.
Chris Sale looked pretty fucking good though.
Well, yes, the first half of the game, the Red Sox looked pretty good. Sale only gave up one really bad shot, but then your bullpen took over.
Yeah, it's just like our game that we had the other day. Brad Hand ruined that game for me.
Yeah, this Red Sox bullpen is just,
It's
and
atrocious.
the thing is they've spent money on it. The thing that they spent money on in offseason was their bullpen.
Mostly on Jansen, right? We spent most of that money on Jansen.
Jansen, yeah, but I mean also some other guys. You paid, you kept a few guys around, brought in some free agents, but that
You know what
Boston
Boston?
bullpen,
You know what
I,
Boston's bullpen needs? Kenta Maeda.
so you want the Red Sox to adopt the Japanese strategy?
Yeah, we already got Yoshida.
Well, Yoshida, it was actually my first time getting to watch him. Like in America in a Red Sox uniform. Um, he he's got a weird swing. You were making a comment about his
The swing
stance.
is weird, but he's got that very Japanese high and tight stance. The very Ichiro Suzuki esque.
So you were saying you think it's going to be
Tampa,
Tampa,
either
Tampa taking.
either
I think it's going to be
Baltimore
the
or New York.
Yankees, and then we both agreed pretty much on Boston.
Yeah.
But then, so you think Baltimore's finishing third or Toronto's finishing third?
Toronto's finishing fourth.
Okay.
Baltimore may finish second. So I have Baltimore either at second or third, Yankees, vice versa.
Okay. Fair enough. So AL Central.
I think
Oh, go
Judge is
ahead.
gonna hit. I think Judge is gonna hit a slump this year. He
Well,
was
he's bound to regress, but
he
just
was
how
playing
much?
for a contract last year. That's the only reason I think he hit that many home runs. He wanted money, and he played for money.
Yes, I mean, I mean, Judge is also a hell of a player, and also Judge is going to be good. He's going to be Aaron Judge, but it's a question of, are we going? We're not going to see him hit 62 homers again. I wouldn't bet on it, uh, but I don't think he's going to dip down into like only hitting 35 or 40. I think it's going to settle somewhere
Maybe in the 50s.
in that high 40s, 50, somewhere in there. It's just it's very tough to repeat that kind of a season he had.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, AL Central, we've got Cleveland, the White Sox, the Twins, the Tigers, and the Royals. Or as I like to refer to the AL Central, uh, dog shit.
Yeah.
This division is atrocious.
It's always looked bad. The AL Central was one of those divisions that when I was paying attention like 10 years ago, didn't even look good. It only had like the only bright spots in there was people like Mauer, Kadire, Mark Burley was still like in the good part of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But then like you look at the Tigers, I think that was the years that they were doing really well.
Not well enough.
Other than that,
Missed it by that much.
that much. But other than that, yeah, no, the AL Central has always been one of those divisions that just on the outside looks like shit.
I still think it's Cleveland's division to lose. The White Sox, I have serious doubts about this team's ability to pitch. I know we went out and we got Clevenger, but we don't know what Mike Clevenger. Are we getting the Clevenger from a few years ago, or are we getting recent Clevenger? Giolito is so up and down. Dylan Cease was actually announced as opening day starter over Giolito. If that tells you because apparently the organization's finally seeing the same thing I am. And I'm not bragging on Dylan Cease. He's a hell of a strikeout guy.
Hell of a mustache.
Would you please get off the facial hair? What was it Billy Bean or Brad Pitt's character said in Moneyball? His fielding does not matter. Matty, his facial hair does not matter.
The power is in the Harvey stash, man. And Dylan Cease got that caterpillar on that upper lip.
Good sweet Jesus. So I still think it's Cleveland's division to lose. I think it's going to be a battle for second place between the Sox and the Twins. There could
Yeah,
be a playoff spot there. There could not, but
the
I don't
Tigers
see
don't look
us
good at
winning
all.
the division unless we get our pitching act together. And if the I almost called them the Indians, the Guardians, unless
Hey,
they somehow
as we know, I still call the damn commies the Skins. So
uh, unless somehow the Guardians just have a collapse or they have a lot of injury issues, I still see them winning the division. I don't think we're good enough to do it. If you'd have asked me that 2 years ago, or even going into last year, I would have said, yeah, we can take this division. This year, I don't feel confident in it. I hope I'm surprised. I hope I'm wrong. Um,
and another
you know,
thing, like in that division that we have to look at, like you said, either third or second's going to the Twins, or Twins or you.
yeah,
And
Twin Sox.
we have to look into the Twins because we don't know what the fuck is up with Correa. Like we saw him swing a couple times last night,
Yeah,
and he looked pretty good, but like he wasn't running the bases.
no, and well, the whole thing with that because it looked like he was going to one team and he was going to another, and it's just
And then both teams, like one team dropped out, the other team physical didn't pass. And then
yeah.
the report came out that the doctor was like, "Your ankle is fucked."
Yes, which is not good for a guy who has to make his money standing on his feet.
Yeah,
And again, ankles are anyone who's done any kind of physical activity, sports, whatever. That ankle is a weird thing. Like if it ain't working right, you are gonna feel uncomfortable doing everything
just
from
walking.
fielding, hitting. So if you can't set your feet right, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And
The
then
other
we
two
got
teams are the Tigers and who?
Royals. Uh,
I see Royals at 4, Tigers at 5. That Tigers team looks like fucking horse shit.
the the time. The world is cyclical. One of my favorite books is called The Fourth Turning, and it basically discusses how there's basically four different like the cycle of time is basically four different types of cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just getting back to reality at this point. This is Detroit. These are the Tigers. They had that run there for a few years where it was, they're going to be, good. They're going to win a World Series, and they were a good team, but then they crash landed back to earth, and it's like, okay, we're back to normal. Detroit sucks. Kansas City. Kansas City is sort of like Baltimore some years. Like they're going to be really really bad, or they are going to
Potentially be a
overachieve.
World Series winner.
Yeah. Or well, not necessarily that, but like overachieve, maybe more than they should. Occasionally, yes, they did have that run 2014, 2015 when they went to
They won
back-to-back
one,
World
right?
Series. Yeah, they won one. They lost to the Mets, or no, they beat the Mets and they lost to the Giants.
Yeah. And that was insane for me because I wasn't keeping up with baseball at the time. And then one of my buddies out in Missouri was like, "Yeah, the Royals are in the World Series." They're fucking what? The Royals haven't been an MLB baseball team in like 20 years. They've been a varsity team facading as an MLB team.
What was that line in Major League? I didn't even know Cleveland still had a team. Yeah, we got uniforms and everything. It's pretty great. And then rounding out the American League, we got the West: Houston, Seattle, the Angels, the Rangers, and the A's. I still think this division. I still think it's Houston.
Yeah, it's Houston's to lose.
Though I think Seattle gets closer. That they last year. I'm looking at last year's. They finished 16 games back of Houston, winning the division. I think they could cut that in half this year,
Oh yeah,
or maybe better.
the
But
Mariners are probably going to have a better season this year. I think all of those younger arms, are going to be
yeah,
much more developed this year.
I'm with you. I still see Houston winning it, but Seattle, I think they make it a lot more interesting.
With this being Otani's contract year, it's very possible the Angels could do something this year.
Well, you need Otani and Trout to stay healthy all year and to play well. You also need the Angels to be able to find some form of pitching
Yeah, I was about to
because
say
that
they
has
need more pitching other than just Otani because he
that
can't
has
go
been
out
their
there and
Achilles
five
heel
innings.
for the last decade. They cannot pitch. They bring in retreads. They bring in free agents.
I think the
It's just
last good pitcher from them that I remember was Weaver.
yeah. Um, I'm struggling to think of any others that they've had. It's just the Angel. Well, and also the Angels are in the process of being sold. Let's not forget that.
That
The
is
commissioner said
true.
he wanted a sale done by opening day, which that doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah, let me
Uh,
look that up real quick because let's see if there's any news on that.
but think about this: last year, as good. Well, Trout missed a lot of time last year, but you know the Angels still finished 33 games out of first place last year. You
Well,
know,
Cap, I got something to show.
oh,
And it's maybe not what you were expecting.
oh. He is no longer pushing a sale of the team that he intends to remain the owner for the 2023 season and beyond. It was with deep sadness for the future of Angels baseball that we learned Artie Moreno is no longer selling the team. A tiger can't change its stripes. Well, there you go. That's Artie Moreno for you. Sorry, Angels fans. Enjoy the cellar. We'll
Oh,
get you some nice silk bunting.
that's
Uh,
that's tragic. But yeah, no, this division it's Houston's to take if if we are in a bizarro world like we are in March Madness this year,
oh boy.
then we may see the Mariners uproot Houston.
I don't think they uproot them. I think they get back to the playoffs, but I don't think they uproot them. Um, Rangers and Angels, I think are it's going to be one a 3-4 thing, and it's gonna depend on you know which team stays the healthiest.
And notice how we didn't really bring up team number 5.
Well, it's Oakland. They they have been in fire sale mode now for the last 2-3 years. Um, Oakland, that team is a mess. The team is a mess. The organization is a mess. That stadium is an outhouse waiting to collapse. Uh, it's just Oakland. You could argue from top to bottom. From not just what we see on the field, just organize like everything. You could argue Oakland is the worst team in baseball all
By
around.
far, by far.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
me talking about, live
let's
where
not
I live
forget. Let's
in.
not forget Miami. We ain't got to the National League yet, but definitely the worst team in the American League. Because even teams like Kansas City that are bad, Kansas City at least has a good infrastructure.
Mhm.
Oakland is just
From top to bottom
top
is
to bottom. That organization, that team is a mess.
like, have y'all ever seen a soda can rust? The Oakland Athletics is that rusted soda can. The
I
moment you
was,
touch it, you're gonna get cut, get tetanus, and it's gonna disintegrate as you grab it.
well, I mean, speaking of tetanus, I wonder if that jabroni in XPW is up to date on his tetanus inoculations.
Oh,
I mean,
I can guarantee you what wasn't in that syringe.
was that syringe sterile? Uh, if you're going to be sticking needles in your privates, you might want to make sure they are at least sterile.
I never knew. I never like, on my 2023 bingo card. I did not have pro wrestler inject syringe into penis.
Did you have Bruce Pritchard performing Rapper's Delight?
I did. I did have that. That actually was maybe one of the greatest clips I've ever seen on Twitter.
The Artful Dodger, even once in a while, can make us laugh. Let's see, where was I?
Jumping
Okay,
into the NL.
NL East. So we got the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies, the Marlins, the Nationals.
It's
See,
very Phillies
I would like to
Marlins.
look at this and say that that the Mets are going to win the division this year. They led the division last year for 100 and something days, and
And then
still
shit the bed.
managed to finish in a tie with the Braves. Well, the Braves won the division, but they still finished record wise the same uh, due to tiebreakers. But I mean, see, this happens every single year, and here is why I'm saying this is going to be the Mets year. Because every year that I've thought they were going to do well, I I would say, hey, I think this is the year the Mets do it, and they would just take a big shat upon my face because I liked the team they had, I liked the players. They brought in
So
my two least favorite players in baseball this year. So with
two
me now
impressive
this year, going to
pitchers of
be
all time.
cheering against the Mets because I hate Scherzer and I hate Verlander. I think this is going to be their year because this is the year I'm not cheering for them.
And it's because they got, Scherzer and Verlander that they'll probably win it too.
Just to stick it up my ass. The Braves are the Braves.
They've been consistent for the last several years. They're
The,
always going to be a 1 or 2 team.
the only piece they really lost was Dansby Swanson, and they've got a kid coming up, Vaughn Grissom, who looks like he might be pretty damn good.
What's that Austin kid that they have? Like the
Austin
22-year-old.
Riley.
That kid
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah, I actually used to work with one of his cousins at my last job.
Goddamn.
Yeah. Yeah, Austin Riley's a beast. So I think the Braves take the division, but because I absolutely despise Scherlander and
Floating.
hello, because I despise Verlander and Scherzer. The Mets are probably going to do it just to make me squirm. The Phillies, I see. I can't figure out the Phillies this year. Bryce Harper, we don't know how long he's going to be on the shelf. Is it going to be until the All Star break? Is he going to get healthy quicker and DH like he did last year? We don't because he's the big piece of their lineup. They've got a really good pitching staff, which kept them in it last year. Uh, I just I don't know. I think it's going to be sink or swim this year for the Phillies. I think either they're going to finish second or third in the division, or they're just going to bottom out.
Now, speaking of, before we move on, I just want to bring up the fact that JT Real Muto got thrown out of a game by an umpire because the umpire threw the ball on the ground.
That was such a douche move by that umpire.
I have never seen something that egregious as an umpire.
Some of these umpires, well, see, this is the same kind of shit you would see from Joe West. Thank God he's retired now. But it's the same kind of thin-skinned bullshit that you deal with some of these umpires who think just because they're standing behind home plate that they're God, and it kills the game because you're throwing a star player, a starting catcher, out of the game for a miscommunication on a handoff of a new baseball.
On
Yeah,
your part. You're the one
it's
that threw the ball on the ground.
it's ridiculous. I don't see. This is why I wish baseball would start whacking these umpires on the back of the head a little bit, or maybe dipping into their wallets.
Yeah, there
See,
needs to be a fine, like for umpires, for referees that do these shoddy ass calls whenever they're
yeah.
clearly in the wrong.
You want to get these umpires to straighten up and fly right? Start fucking with their money.
Yeah, that is the best way to get them to perform better.
Because they make a damn nice living, but umpires don't get paid like Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper do. You start dipping into their coffers, and they will not be happy with you. Oh, as we just discussed, our old friends, the Miami Marlins, and then you got the Washington Nationals, who
They're
like,
always a weird team. The Nationals are always a boom or bust team with like the most random schmucks.
yes, the year they won the World Series a couple of years ago, it was
Like,
just
yeah,
one
they
of
had
those.
Scherzer and Strasburg, but other than that, Ian Kinsler,
Yeah,
Ryan Zimmerman.
well, they also had the third baseman Rendon. He was on that
Oh,
team.
Rendon was good. They
Then he
didn't
went. Then he
have
went to the
Soto, did
Angels.
they? They didn't have Soto at the time?
Soto was on that team.
Okay.
It was rookie year, I believe.
So they had some names, but
Yeah, well, but their pitching was just their bullpen specifically was just bleh. But for some
they had to
reason, their
trust the
bullpen turned
Cardinals
it
to get
on.
through.
Their bullpen turned it on just at the right time, and the team got hot, and that's how it happens sometimes. But think about this: last year, the Nationals finished dead last in baseball in terms of run differential, which is a big stat for trying to see, is a team the real deal or not. They finished with a negative 252 run differential, which was by far the worst in baseball.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Well, to go back to the White Sox last year, yeah, we finished second in the division, but we had a minus 31 run differential.
Yeah,
That tells you
you're keeping games closer.
that says it.
Speaking of games not being close, albeit it was spring training, 1-24, the Cardinals lost to the Astros.
Mercy rule, people. And again, spring training, you can't take much away. Spring training, you're not looking at final scores. You're looking at velocity. You're looking at swing move. You're looking at how are guys behaving rather than how they're performing, more or
Yeah, but it
less.
kind of turned more into a BP session than an actual exhibition game.
That was ugly. But the point I was getting to, typically, if a team has a negative run differential, they're not they and they are either leading their division or they make the playoffs, but they have a negative run differential. Typically, that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
But moving to the Central, we've got Cardinals, Brewers, Cubs, Pirates, Reds. Uh,
The
well, we can
Cardinals
instantly
taking this.
well we can write off the Reds and Pirates. Just stick them in the cellar.
Yeah, Reds are going to be 5. Pirates are going to be lucky to be 4.
That goose is going to be cooked.
But
The Cubs
Cardinals are taking it this year.
Cubs are an interesting. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days as I've looked at the Cubs team. Cubs are kind of an interesting bunch this year. They got Dansby Swanson, um, who was, came out, not out of nowhere, but definitely had his peak year last year with Atlanta. Going to another hitter friendly park, that could really boost them. They've got Marcus Stroman in the rotation, who's announced as their opening day starter, who last year had like he was night and day. If he was pitching at Wrigley, his numbers were awful. If he was pitching on the road, he looked like a Cy Young candidate. It was black and white with that.
And Wrigley is a notorious pitcher's park, isn't it?
No, hitters.
Oh, it
No.
is a hitter's park?
Wrigley is a hitter's paradise. So it's going to come down, for guys like Stroman, they're big boys. Where are their starts going to fall? Are they going to fall more on the road or more at Wrigley? Um, because typically, if you work in such a hitter friendly park, but you've got good pitchers, that means you can win a lot more of your road games. Uh, but the Cubs, the more I've looked at their roster this year, I'm not saying they're going to take the division, but I don't see them maybe finishing as bad as they did. They finished 19 games back last year. So I think they'll make it. I think it'll be more of a race between them and the Brewers for second, rather than a race between the Brewers and the Cardinals for first. If that makes any sense. Because while the Brewers, and you pointed this out during the draft, while the Brewers have great pitching, their hitting has gotten even like they can't hit.
Yeah, I was about to say you and Justin pointed out that Christian Yelich has been going down progressively quick.
Well, yeah, I mean just injuries. I mean, just one after the other. The guy can't stay healthy. Yeah, exactly, Dave. So
And now
then,
the NL West.
well, the Rockies finished 43 games back last year of first place and finished in the cellar. I kind of see them in Arizona ending up the same way. I literally I think this is a two pony show. This is Dodgers Padres,
Yeah.
and
I think it's going to be the Padres this year.
yeah, that lineup is insane.
They had a really fucking large gap. The Reds, another large gap.
Pittsburgh. Sorry, Tree.
You have Pittsburgh below the Reds this year?
Pittsburgh could be that team that
Worst in the-
finishes the worst team in baseball this year. Because even the few good pieces they have, they're likely going to sell them off because that's what Pittsburgh under their current ownership does. They're just
They just brought back McCutchen.
Yeah, but Kutch he's in his twilight.
After he cut the dreads,
he lost his power.
just like mustaches. Come on, Mike Mikolaus.
Miles Mikolas, yeah. Why didn't you draft him?
Because I didn't know he was still on the board. I thought Devin already got him.
But yeah, I see that the NL West. It's the Dodgers and Padres, and Giants, Diamondbacks. I think the Giants finished third. Diamondbacks and Rockies. It's going to be a coin toss.
Giants do have a chance at finishing second.
Okay, but given the Dodgers and the Padres, where are you seeing?
Because it's the fucking Giants, and they do it at random.
They are.
The
Giants are sneaky.
They are sneaky. They could fucking take the division this year.
They are a sneaky bunch. Always have been. So yes.
Are they looking to fire sale the rotation?
No, like if we get to the All-Star game and they're in a spot where they are so far behind St. Louis, they might do a fire sale of the rotation. That's possible. It's going to depend on where they are at the trade deadline. Because if it's still close between them and St. Louis, they'll keep him. But if St. Louis pulls ahead, the first half of the year, they may very well do that. Send some of those guys to the White Sox, would you?
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, Brandon Woodruff, I think you would look phenomenal in a Red Sox jersey.
Well, the thing about this, as good as the Padres are, I mean, granted, this year they got Juan Soto. Tatis is going to be coming off his suspension end of April. I forget how many games exactly there are in April, but he should be back, end of the month. With that lineup they've got, but adding Soto as that big piece, even without him they still finished 22 games behind the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's a gap.
That's a pretty fucking big gap.
Even with the team they've got. So now
wow, he's got the Diamondbacks at third. And then the distance from here to Pluto, the Rockies.
Well, I think that's about the distance some of the balls get hit out of Coors Field.
Hey, you see the big logo on the scoreboard? That's no joke. It's just the other team hitting them.
I was just before we went live, I was Herman Marquez named opening day starter for the Rockies, which we pretty much figured.
Hey,
Gombers looked
Austin
pretty good.
Gomber looked really good last night.
Yeah, but again, they weren't pitching at Coors. That's
Yeah,
that's the trouble. It's just like that field is such an Achilles heel because you mentioned John Gray. Was one of their big draft picks from the University of Oklahoma at one point,
had a good
and
year and then just got ate up.
yeah, it's just literally with a Rockies pitcher, you can almost literally subtract a half to three quarters of a point off their ERA and just chalk it up to Coors. Because it is so damn tough to pitch there. You've got to succeed at Coors. You have got to be an elite level ground ball pitcher, and you've got to have a defense behind you that can gobble those things up and get outs. That is the only way to pitch at Coors is to be a ground ball pitcher.
Do you
Because
think
if
Maddox or Martinez would have done well in Coors?
I think Maddox would have done well anywhere he went, but yeah, I think he would have done well at Coors. Again, Pedro relied a little bit more on the gas than ground balls. He was a strikeout guy, and Coors you can't work off velocity. You have to get those ground ball, keep the ball low, don't let the ball get up
Yeah.
because that thin air is just going to
And
take it out of there.
up and
Oh,
gone.
get up, get up, get
So
out of here,
the only team,
gone.
the only team that we haven't looked at the opening day starter was the Cards.
Let me take a look at that.
Because we
Have
know
they
the
announced
Sox, we
him
know yours, and we know the
for
Rockies.
Cardinals? Kluber was announced as opening day starter for the
Sox.
Sox, and looks like Miles Michaelis will be the opening day starter for the Cardinals.
Okay. Come on, sexy mustache.
Oh Lord, where is this ever going to end?
After the baseball season, because basketball players and football players don't have sexy mustaches for some reason.
Let's see.
The last one I can remember was Rogers Handlebar Mustache, and that was my fantasy football team name for a couple of years.
Okay, I'm seeing some news on ESPN.
Bad news.
Well, not necessarily good or bad, just updates on things we discussed at the top of the show. There's the first one. Jets
Okay.
GM, no rush. Aaron Rodgers. Uh, they're saying Lamar Jackson is not an option. They're not looking at the Jets are not looking at Lamar. But they're saying they're in no rush for Rodgers, which I say bullshit.
Yeah. Here we go. Just pulling it up real quick. So that way we can actually, I guess we could consider this breaking news.
Well, I mean it's an
It's an
update
update.
on an ongoing, horrifically ongoing saga.
This has been going for about 2-3 years now between Rodgers and the Packers. Like, am I going to retire? Are you guys going to trade me? You guys fucking drafted Jordan Love when you had me and I was winning an MVP.
And this is the other one. Apparently, Chris Ballard is open to the idea of Lamar Jackson being a Colt
Yeah,
GM for the
like I said.
Matty. Yeah, while you were here this week, I showed you some Johnny Carson, Karnak the Magnificent. Maybe Matty's got that Karnak thing going.
We said we should pull a skit where we do something like that.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting to pull that off. Maybe that could actually be my Halloween costume. I could go as Karnak the Magnificent. Let's see, what was I looking at here just a moment ago? Yeah, Yeah. So, the next thing to get into, it is WrestleMania week.
Yes,
So,
baby.
I'm going to pull up the WrestleMania card, and I'm going to start from the bottom here.
Well, we could start off with the match that we know is kicking off night one of WrestleMania. Austin Theory versus John Cena for the United States Championship.
I think Theory has to go over here.
And Cena's gonna do the job. We all know he's a consummate professional.
Yeah, this is going to be that. Well, I don't want to say defining moment of his career because Theory still has a long way to go,
Like
but
he's
this will
only
be one of those
25
cornerstone moments in his career, getting a win over Cena at
at
Mania.
WrestleMania.
Uh, Over the weekend, we did find out it's official. Dom and Ray.
Now, a
Uh,
lot of people, and Dave, I know you might crap on this. I'm really excited for Ray versus Dom for the sole reason that the thought of a son and father being able to actually go backstage, work out a WrestleMania match, and then just go out and perform it. That is like every father and son's dream whenever they get into this business.
yeah, it's going to be a huge moment for the Mysterio family.
And
Um,
Ray's going to make Dom look good. This match is going to be good.
I'm not sure exactly which way I would say who's going to go over here. I could see it because it's also Ray's Hall of Fame weekend. I'm not
I
sure
mean,
exactly who's going to go over, but either way, Ray will
Dom
make
yelled at
Dom
his
look
mom to
good.
shut up. Dom yelled at his mom to shut up. So every parent wants to see Ray go over. Every child at WrestleMania wants to see Dom go over. Yeah, shut up, mom.
We got Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street
Oh.
Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders versus who gives a flying fuck.
So the two four-way tag team matches. We can throw in the women's four-way tag team match in here as well. They don't belong on this WrestleMania card.
No, this is filler.
They don't belong on this WrestleMania card. So you're meaning to tell me that we're gonna have both Bobby or here's a couple names that are on the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown on Friday. Johnny Gargano, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight. Those are three names that at least, and Bronson Reed. That's another name. You could have Gargano versus Bronson, and you can have LA versus Bobby, and those would be very, very good pay-per-view matches. It might just have no build at WrestleMania, but it's
Hmm.
something for them to fucking do. If we're gonna have a filler match that makes no sense, at least have it be good.
And the participants in the ladies' match: Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalia and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus TBA and TBA. So we don't even know who the last team is going to be in there yet.
We we have 5 days cap before WrestleMania.
Yeah. But let's get to a match that we're both looking forward to. Triple threat for the Intercontinental title: Gunther,
Oh, baby.
Drew, and Sheamus. This is going to be one of those meat smackers where I think even Matty may turn his camera off during so he can, take care of
Take care.
himself. Uh, get that, make sure that Jergens is there, the Kleenex. This is going to be a meat slapper.
So David's got a point on the Cena Theory match. Cena Theory being first. I see Cena going over for the huge pop to get the crowd off hot, then a huge pop on Raw. WWE booking for the past, not the future.
Well, again, I would, I think Theory going over is the no brainer, but how much, does Vince having how much control does he have at this point? I mean, we've been told Hunter still has the book, but if Vince is around, Vince likes to play Vince games.
Yeah, I knew you weren't going to agree with me on that match, Dave, but I just see Ray and Dom being able to have a good match.
Yeah, I think I think this is going to be a good one. I would
Those two tag matches, however, no. But the triple
yeah,
threat might be the most excited I've been for a match since Sheamus and Gunther in Clash at the Castle.
yeah, yeah. Just yeah. If you're going to leave your camera on, make sure you double knot your robe.
That match is a meat slapper's paradise.
We got Edge and Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell. We thought we were going to get it at Rumble. We're getting it at Mania.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Finn has to go over here.
Oh yeah, we didn't even give our thoughts on who would win the tag matches.
I could honestly really care less. I would rather, if I had, I would be cheering for the Street Profits. Just
because we like the Street Profits. They're
yeah,
phenomenal.
but as far as the other, I mean, it's like
Alpha Academy. I like as well.
Well, I like half of Alpha Academy, the smaller half.
I love me some Otis. Alora loves her some Otis too.
But yeah, I mean, I think the smart move here is to have either the Profits or the Vikings go over just for the sake of future booking.
Yeah, especially because whoever wins goes against Kevin and Sammy, because that's who's winning that match.
Yeah,
but Shayna and Ronda are winning that 4-way.
So you got Edge, Edge and Balor. What are you seeing here? I mean, I think Balor has to go over, but I think it's going to be. I really enjoyed their I Quit match. I thought it was
perfectly planned out.
The finish again was kind of hooey. Not the concerto to Phoenix, but just
like the build up to it took a little bit long.
Yeah, it got a little convoluted, but I loved the match itself. And I think it's going to be another really good one between those two because ever since Edge has come back, he hasn't had Edge doesn't have bad matches.
No, then I think I would really want like his retirement match. Like if he does have his retirement match in August, if that is the last one, I would like for it to be against Priest again.
Okay,
because they had a phenomenal match on Raw. Sheamus, Drew, Gunther could be. I would replace that C with a W, David, because it will be the match of the year for WWE.
Well, now let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We still got 3/4 of the year to go.
I could give two shits less. Hunter is Paul McMahon booking on the main roster. Book the fuck out of NXT though. Hey, he's booking pay-per-views well.
The PLEs have been fine. The TV is dog shit.
The TV sucks, and it's going to suck because we have so much time to fill.
I mean, you've got to cut the shows down. You got to cut Raw down to 2 hours, and you've got to go to TV 14, TVMA across the board.
I'm okay with multiple shows of wrestling a week. I'm okay with that. But we do need to at least have them 2 hours per show. Like, we don't need a 3-hour Raw.
No. So for the irrelevant women's tag team titles, we've got Becky Lynch. This is a 6 ladies tag. We got Becky, Lita, and Trish versus Damage Control. This almost to me is like one of the 4, or the 2 14. And it's not that I love Becky, I love Lita, I love Trish, I love Bayley, but it's just like it just seems just like an excuse to put Lita and Trish on Mania.
Totally.
When you could put a Gargano or an LA Knight.
An LA Knight. Oh yeah, no, we needed to finish this. Finn needs to go over here. He's been 3rd or sometimes 4th in his own group.
Well, mommy.
It's hard to beat Rhea Ripley's popularity. It's crazy to say that because Finn Balor is immensely popular.
But Rhea is over like Rover.
But yeah, I say Finn needs to go over here. I would like to see a return of the Demon. That's just me. Hell in a Cell, Demon Balor. That'd be a very fucking cool aesthetic.
Agreed.
Back to you said the irrelevant Yeah, 6-women tag. This is totally a reason to bring Trish and Lita onto WrestleMania just to give them a cheap pop.
Yeah, this match is going to, regardless of who wins or loses, nobody's going to go. Regardless of who goes over, nobody's going any higher.
And I've been very vocal and irritated about the fact that they took the tag titles off of Io and Dakota. Just to put them on Becky. Okay, Lita as a current WWE champion. Just I cannot make sense of it three ways.
You're saying there's not another woman on the roster more deserving of that spot? Like, you can't think of a full timer who's not retired, who wouldn't benefit from being hooked to Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I was about to say, you could have put, if you really wanted to, you could have put Liv with Becky. And you guess what? Becky's going to get Liv back over again.
So we got Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. Obviously, I'm a huge Seth Rollins mark. I'm looking forward to this because Logan Paul, love him or hate him, he's had great matches. The ones he's had, it's Seth Rollins. He's the best worker in the business. I mean, it's like you see Seth Rollins on the card, and it's like, this is going to be a great one.
Yeah, and like I saw David say it on Twitter, and I'm going to bring it up because he said the current Seth Rollins is a parody of like what Seth Rollins used to be, which is true because Seth Rollins at this point, I just don't think as a character cares. Like you said earlier, Cap, he's like a Batman villain. Like he doesn't necessarily care about winning, it seems.
Yeah, it's like, and when I say a Batman, I'm talking about like the '60s Batman, with Frank Gorshin, Burgess Meredith, those kind of Batman villains where sometimes you almost kind of feel a little sympathy for them, but it's just like, it's the classic Batman villain that they're always gonna be screwing with whomever
and keep coming back. Like, you're gonna beat them down, knock them down. Guess what? He's not done with you yet.
Yeah, Rollins and Logan Paul, that one kind of speaks for itself.
I see Logan Paul going over here.
Well, I see Logan going over just because he did the job at the Saudi show. He went over at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah, Dave, I 100% agree. Damage Control has been one of the worst booked factions I have seen in a long time. How are you going to have Bianca Belair beat the entire faction, and two of them are your tag champions?
Yeah.
How you fuck up Bayley, Dakota, and Io is beyond me.
Like, their best moment was at SummerSlam when they stood there in the aisle together and then walked to the ring to look at Bianca and Becky. And from there, it's just been,
which is depressing, like really bad.
Exactly. Next on the card, we've got Brock Lesnar and Almost.
I need to see an F5. We didn't get the power bomb off the top rope from Braun Strowman. I need an F5 from Brock.
I'm about as interested in I'm about as interested in Brock Lesnar as I am at watching paint dry at this point.
This needs to be a 5-minute match.
This match doesn't need to happen.
Again, Lashley, LA Knight, Gargano, Bronson Reed. You couldn't find a fuck to do with them.
I guess they're still bound and determined to push Omos, and Brock always wants a payday.
Which does prove Dave's point here again. We're seeing quite a bit of McMahonisms in what Hunter has been doing.
I'd like to see a lot less of it.
At least on TV. Again, pay-per-views are fucking phenomenal.
He has been killing the PLEs.
It's like he hopped out of a Joel Schumacher Batman movie.
Seth?
Yeah.
Well, Batman Forever, I liked because Val Kilmer, awesome actor. Jim Carrey, awesome actor. Tommy Lee Jones, awesome
Yeah,
actor.
I loved that movie.
That one was good.
Especially since Jim Carrey just went all out on the Riddler.
It was Batman and Robin that sucked. George Clooney, not a good actor.
If we could get Arnie on for WrestleMania or for SummerSlam, it's in Detroit, not California, but not Detroit. We can get RoboCop, right?
Oh God, no. Hey, Jim Hurd, if he isn't dead yet, he's got to be near death. We don't need RoboCop again. That was just Dave knows what I'm talking about here. RoboCop at Capital Combat. Fuck me running. This is one I'm really looking forward to. Undisputed tag team titles, Usos versus Sammy and Kev. I think this is one of those that could potentially tear the house down. All four of these guys are great workers.
The storyline, that the entire storyline of the Bloodline from April of last year to now has been, or not even April of last year. It's been further back. Like we can go back to Jimmy or Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns Hell in a Cell I Quit match. Like from that point to now, this has been one of the most invested things that I've ever been in a wrestling storyline. Like I've had like Hangman Page and Omega, that was a very good story. I love that, and I really love the Bloodline storyline as well. Like they are 1A 1B for me in like the last 10 years.
I mean the Bloodline story has been phenomenal, and I'm crediting that to several parties. Number one, Paul Heyman. You know he's got his hands all over this. Heyman is a genius.
Roman his due as well.
Roman has come along so much in the last few years that I literally went from hating him, just wanting him out of wrestling, to loving everything he's done here. Sami Zayn, again, I've called him the modern day Terry Funk. He just Kevin Owens. While I
from day one of this storyline,
yep,
has been the heart of this whole storyline. If Jey Uso would have gotten hurt at any point during this storyline, I don't know if it would have carried on the way it did.
Wasn't it at which show was it that it was when they faced the Street? Was it Clash at the Castle when Jimmy or one of them was?
No, they were not. They were not in a Clash because
was it
the Usos were not at Clash at the Castle? I don't think.
Was it SummerSlam where one of them was injured but not severely? They worked through it.
Yeah. I was about to say, like there was a slight injury, but they worked through it. Like nothing that took them off TV. Which again, after WrestleMania, give Jimmy and Jay, give Roman a good couple months off. Give them time because they've been carrying WWE for a long time.
Well, we'll get to Roman in a little bit, but it's pretty much for sure he's going to be taking an extended break after Mania.
But Sammy, KO, Jimmy, Jay, these guys have been perfect for their roles in this.
Yes. I couldn't have said that one any better. Raw Women's Championship. I know this is one that Maddie and I are looking forward to. Asuka and Bianca. I think this one has the potential to steal the show whichever night it's on.
Yeah, I was about to say, it could very well be one of the best matches of the entire weekend. Very, very surprising, but it could be. Because Bianca's phenomenal and Asuka can make people shine. Sammy, Kevin winning in the... Ooh. I forgot about the matches that they had in Ring of Honor.
Hey, I haven't seen them, but I've seen the Kevin and El Generico match against each other. I haven't seen them against War Machine.
Yeah, Kevin and Sammy as a tag team were fucking insane.
I thought, well, no, didn't they face the Briscoes
Yes,
in
they
one of their?
did in a
Okay,
boxing
yeah,
street fight.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, they beat the dog shit out of each other in that match. Hello, Miss Magums.
Yeah. Bianca and Asuka.
Asuka has to go over. With her character change, you need her to go over.
I I could see it going either way because WWE is loving pushing Bianca. And I mean, she has been so phenomenal in this title run. She hasn't turned in a bad match. Um, but at the
Aside from
same,
like bad booking, no, her matches have been phenomenal. But
yeah,
like
her performance has have been awesome.
the booking of her matches has not been good. Like we can go back to Damage Control versus Bianca Belair because you can say it was Damage Control. It was damn near a triple or 3-on-1, and Bianca won.
I would say the only reason I wouldn't put Asuka over here is if I'm going to turn Bianca heel
Okay,
and have her, you know,
cheat
start.
to beat Asuka.
Yeah, uh, that would be the one. I could see it going either way, but if you're going to have Bianca go over here, you've got to start changing it up because the good girl image has started was wearing me out 6 months ago.
And
The,
it's
the
already
gimmick,
got
not the
people
matches, but just the
yeah.
gimmick.
It's and the gimmick has gotten people uninterested,
It's getting stale.
but Bianca as a whole, like in the ring, on the microphone, she is phenomenal. Give her a heel run because she is a fucking phenomenal heel.
I completely agree. Uh,
Her NXT run was fantastic.
yeah, Bianca. I mean, it's tough for me to call her. I mean, there's so many great women right now at the top of that division, but it's tough for me to rank. I mean, Bianca, Rhea, Becky, uh, as far as like which one's better. It's really tough because they're all so good at what they do.
Yeah.
So next we got
SmackDown Women's.
Charlotte and Rhea. I think everybody knows what we all want here. We want mommy to bring home the belt and whip Sub with it. I mean,
Yeah,
Dom.
yeah, beat the shit out of Sub with it. Like
T-
this match is a couple years in the making. Rhea should have went over Charlotte at WrestleMania the last time they faced.
Agreed.
And the fact that they had Charlotte beat Rhea at WrestleMania is ridiculous. But I digress there. This match, Rhea, that nobody on this card, maybe other than Cody, needs to win their match more than Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania.
I would say I would throw Theory in there. I think Theory has to go over Cena, but yes, you're 100% right there. I would say Theory has to win, Rhea has to win, Cody has to win. As long well, Gunther I think needs to keep the Intercontinental title. Uh,
I want him to challenge for the world title while still holding the IC
yeah,
title.
those are the four. Like if I'm looking at this from a booking point of view, and I'm thinking long term business, you know, who goes over in some of the other matches. I can see it either way. There's it's not like a has to one way or the other in a lot of the others, but those four to me, Theory, Rhea, Cody, Gunther. Those are the four guys who have to go over.
I like that. Yeah, I was about to say, send Bianca to SmackDown. I think another thing that's been making her gimmick stale, she's been on Raw since she got called up.
Well, it's just it's wearing on me because I can't stand the goody two shoes female
Yeah, Bianca's
gimmick.
character stale as fuck. Turn her
Yeah,
heel, send her to SmackDown. Beautiful idea, David.
yeah. So
So
we
just
were
got
saying
Rhea and Charlotte.
Rhea and Charlotte. I think it's going to be awesome, but yeah, Rhea's got to go over here because otherwise, why did you not only have her win the Rumble, enter at number one,
Go all the
longest?
way through.
Yeah, why would you literally have spent what you've been doing with Rhea the last year to have Charlotte go over? I mean, what you've literally taken
You are
everything you've
right
done
there,
for the
David.
last year and just
David is 100% right there.
Asuka is damn good. I would say I think Bianca is the best wrestler. Becky, well, Becky and Bianca 1A, 1B. I could, on any given day, I could rotate those two in and out. Rhea is the overall best worker.
And
Uh,
in the ring, I'll agree with David that Io is the best wrestler. Like in the ropes, Io is the best. You would have to go to NXT to see some of her work down there. Look at her match with Sasha Banks at
okay.
Great American Bash. That's a match worth going and seeing. Io is great. The backward booking event of 2023. Rhea has to go over and Flair has to do something not involving a title.
Agreed. Well, and let's not forget, Flair had some of his best matches when he wasn't NWA or WCW World Champion. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
they don't. A Flair doesn't need to hold a belt
well, not
like
it's
all
not
the time.
necessarily all the time. Yes, it's not a yes or no thing.
Yeah, we need a Flair to hold a title occasionally.
Yeah, and because it's great to have a Flair and
To be
to
the
have a
man, you
belt.
gotta beat the man.
Yeah, it's great to have a Flair with a belt and get chased, lose it, and then go do something else for a while, then get the belt, hold it. They don't need to hold it forever, or always have one. But it's Flair's notoriously, it's far better to watch them get chased for a belt than to, them chase after a belt.
Yes.
And our big
Who do we
boy,
saw?
our main event, Cody and Roman.
Did you see what
Matt,
Cody put out on his Instagram?
I'm not on it. Well, I mean, I have an Instagram account, but I'm on there
In
so little.
in terms of pyro, Cody said that we may be looking at a record-setting amount of pyro for WrestleMania this year.
Wouldn't shock me. It's Mania. It's go big or go home. It's the show every year. Not that bad, Dave. Come on. Barry Horowitz didn't win a match for like 2 years straight.
To be fair, after the women did get the belts, they hardly defended them.
Well, who are they going to defend him against? I mean, it's not
Exactly.
exactly a strong women's tag team division.
And that's what they're trying to showcase on Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
We've got women to have in a tag team, okay, but all of those women are your singles roster. Like those are all your champions.
Patchwork tag teams.
The only tag team that looks legit there is Shayna and Ronda, and that's because they're part of the four horsewomen of fucking MMA.
Uh, Cody and Roman, I think we all pretty much agree Cody's got to go over here. Um,
If Roman does go over, have him hold it till 1,000 and then drop it. But other than that, yeah, Cody. I want Cody to win.
I I've been waiting for this moment pretty much all my life. At Rumble, I was there. I was crying on Maddie's shoulder when Cody won because I never thought I would live to see the day that a Rhodes would win a Rumble and go to WrestleMania because Vince, WWE, whoever have notoriously done everything they could to piss on and hold down the members of the Rhodes family. And when that happened, I was like, I never thought I would live to see it. And now that it's WrestleMania is in a less than a week, the fact that I I the idea that I'm going to live to see the fact that I may very well be about to, after 36 years, having watched wrestling since 1995, see the son of Dusty win the main event at WrestleMania and take both belts
and
like
convert them
to the Winged
into
Eagle.
one.
Uh,
I do hope it's like a retro title style because Cody did it with the IC title.
yeah,
I would love for Cody to bring back either the Winged Eagle, maybe like I said, the undisputed belt that Brock held. But I do see Cody bringing back either the Winged Eagle or
Big
more,
Goldie.
yeah, or Big Goldie.
Uh, I I'm excited for the match because I think Cody and Roman are going to tear the house down
How long do you think the match is going? I say it's going to go like 45 minutes,
with or without the entrances,
including the entrances.
including the entrances, 45 minutes.
So from
So say a 30-minute match plus 15 minutes of intros.
just about. So yeah,
Okay, I could see that.
like they're
I
gonna
mean,
take
they
they're
both
gonna
got
take
good
up they're gonna
cardio,
take up probably the whole last hour of WrestleMania night 2.
which it should. Your main event, especially with two guys like that who can go and have the cardio that they do. I'm not at all upset with that. Oh God, we love you, Dave.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Exactly how the finish is going to go down, apart from Cody going, I don't know exactly.
It's got to be 3 crossroads.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know exactly how Cody is going to go over. I mean, I'm saying that I think he has to. If he doesn't, then
And
what kind of
one
tomfuckery is going on
yeah,
here?
one more
Uh,
thing, Cody has to go over clean.
yes,
There cannot be any interference. Like it has to be Roman versus Cody. And for the moment to happen the way it should, Cody has to go over clean.
exactly. Because if you have Roman lose if you have Roman lose any way other than clean, it's going to
Give
uh,
people an excuse to go, but he didn't do it by himself.
yeah, and that's going to hurt Cody by the same flip that around. If Cody goes over in an unclean way, it's going to hurt Cody. You have to have this thing pure.
And Cody has to win. Like next to Rhea, Cody is the next person that has the most need to win.
Yeah. Uh,
For his
if we're putting
dad,
them in order, I would
for
say Cody, Rhea, Theory, Gunther would be the order I would say the have to win. Like in that descending order.
match itself goes about 25. I would like to see it go maybe 30, but again, that's just me, and it'd probably be a lot more walking around than I'm expecting. So, because Roman does like to walk around during his matches, but it makes
Well,
sense.
that's classic heel work. The heel has to try and slow it down, get under the baby face's skin, slow the pace down. That's just that's how the game goes.
So overall, hype for WrestleMania, Cap.
Hype on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at about an 8.5, 9. I'm my
Entrance intros will be about 25 minutes as well.
I think half the card is phenomenal. Then the other half of the card I could give two hoots about. Um, but I'm excited enough for the matches that I am excited about to be pumped for it. Um, Apparently, from what I understood, you mentioned because originally it was supposed to be Lashley and Bray
Yes.
doing something. Apparently, Bray no showed an MSG show, uh,
Really?
and so apparently he may be on the outs with WWE.
Oh
Uh,
Lord. Not again.
because he wanted to work with Brock. Brock told him to go piss up a rope. He wanted to work with Bobby, but then the booking idea that they came to Bray with, Bray absolutely hated. and then Bray no-showed Madison Square Garden show. So uh, no idea what exactly is going on with Bray Wyatt right now.
Okay.
So we've jinxed Kofi back-to-back Rumbles. Did we jinx Bray?
At least we got to see him and say thank you.
Yes.
All right. So I'm looking up some of the other big time matches that are happening over the weekend. This website.
Dave, you really think Roman's going over? That is. How much more fleshing out do we need from Cody? I mean, what more is there to flesh out? I mean, it's if
Okay. So I've got the Bloodsport card, which is the shoot wrestling card
uh-huh.
of the weekend. Kota Ibushi versus Mike Bailey is on the card. We've got Josh Barnett, former UFC heavyweight, going against Timothy Thatcher.
Wow. Barnett's and Thatcher's, that's a
That match
blast
is
from the
gonna
past.
fucking slap. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is facing J.R. Kratos, who's another massive human being. And every time I've seen Davey Boy Smith on these cards, he's overperformed. Holy shit! Ultimo Dragon is wrestling on the weekend.
Wow.
Ultimo Dragon is facing Negro Casas at the Michael Hitchcock Memorial Show. Ooh, you'll be excited for this one. Hijo del Vikingo versus Taurus versus Commander.
Ooh, we watched some Vikingo and Taurus this weekend.
And Cap was very impressed.
I was already a big fan of Vikingo, but I'd never seen Taurus before, and I was very impressed for a guy his size to move like he did, and just insane natural power.
It really was fucking crazy.
So
United Empire, Jeff Cobb, Mark Davis, and Kyle Fletcher are facing the tag team of Time Machine, which is Kushida and the Motor City Machine Guns.
I do like the machine guns.
Ooh, that's going to be a hard-hitting match that absolutely doesn't need to happen. Oh, it might not happen because Josh Alexander tore his bicep. So,
ouch.
So any match that he's on might not happen.
I'm pulling up stand and deliver card. I'm guessing we're not going to be covering that one Saturday just because we got to save our voices because I learned my lesson.
We're gonna be that we should not watch back-to-back pay-per-views again like that.
Yeah, that wore me out. But I mean, I'll be watching just to see what happens here. Obviously, we've got the unsanctioned match, Gargano and Waller.
That match is going to be very good.
You showed me his last match with Ciampa over the weekend, which was I really enjoyed that one. The Schism versus Tyler Bate and Chase U. I'm kind of curious to see Rock's daughter, what she does, but apart from that, meh.
That's her first. I believe it's her first on-screen in-ring match.
NXT Women's Tag Titles match, meh.
Oh, yeah.
Fatal 5-way for the North American title. Dragon Lee versus Dragunov versus McDonough versus the Battle Royal winner tomorrow night and Wesley. I think that'll be a pretty damn good one. I love me some Dragunov, so I'll definitely be interested to see what happens there.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Ladder match for NXT Women's title.
Now, I said whenever we were watching NXT when I was over there, the ladder match should be for that 5-way for the North American title.
Yeah, I would. If you've got to throw a ladder in there, I would put it there.
Yeah, I would put it under Wesley.
And then obviously the big one we've been waiting for, Carmelo and Braun. I hope Carmelo goes over here. He has made
If he goes over, he's staying in NXT though. I want Braun to win so that way we can at least have Mello to the main roster.
Well, whatever gets Mello to the main roster quicker. I'm not a big Braun Breaker fan. That's why I would like to see Carmelo go over. But yeah, that kid is main roster ready. There is no point in leaving him in the NXT oven. Call him up night after Mania.
All right, I have the New Japan and Impact Multiverse of Matches show.
All right.
Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Mike Bailey. Holy shit. Moose versus Jeff Cobb. That match is going to slap because both of those boys is big. X Division title, Trey Miguel versus Frankie Kazarian versus Rich Swann versus Kevin Knight versus Clark Connors versus Rocky Romero in a 6-way match. A match that I'm very excited for. Kenta versus Minoru Suzuki. They're just going to slap the dog shit out of each other.
Quick little article I just saw on ESPN. Looks like Eagles are looking to re-sign Jalen Hurts.
Extend him?
To extend him pretty soon. Not sure exactly what dollars we're talking about, but the article makes it sound like he'll be somewhere in the $40 to $45 million a year range for Jalen.
Right. Hopeful new deal gets done.
Yeah, I agree there, Dave. Stand and Deliver looks really solid top to bottom, minus that Chase U schism thing. I'm more interested in just one of the participants to see what happens with her as opposed to the match itself. But yeah,
Tyler Bates always a good hand too.
do you think they're going to leave Gargano down in NXT?
I love Gargano in NXT, but I sure hope that he starts resonating with the crowd more.
It's like I don't know what else he has to do. It's like what more do you want from this guy? He can cut a promo. He can work. It's like, I mean, okay, yeah, he's smaller. Whoop-de-doo. His matches are awesome.
I'm just trying to see if
Oh,
there's
please,
any.
Dave, let's not help Braun Breaker in any way. That club-footed, ugh. Not a Breaker fan here. Breaker, not a Breaker fan.
In a match that's just a bunch of young people and Mike Bailey, Mao and Mike Bailey versus Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver. Which, if I'm not mistaken, Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne combined are only like a little over 30. And then Ring of Honor Super Card, Claudio Castagnoli versus Eddie Kingston, Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe, Reach for the Sky ladder match, the Lucha Brothers, the Kingdom, Aussie Open, Dralistico and Roosh, and Top Flight. I think the Kingdom take that one, but that's just me.
Yeah,
Hijo Vikingos on this show again.
Oh,
Yeah, he's defending the AAA Mega Championship against Commander.
so he's gonna be working 2 matches this weekend.
Oh, I think I saw him like 3 times.
Damn.
That boy's putting in some work. Ultimo Dragon is teaming with the Time Splitters
To face
Team Filthy, which is Tom Lawler, a former UFC fighter, Jarrell Nelson, and Royce Isaacs. We get Kushida, Alex Shelley, and Ultimo Dragon teaming together.
damn. Hey, I'm always down for some Ultimo.
Holy shit. Aja Kong versus Masha Slamovich.
Masha Slamovich. That sounds like the absolute perfect Russian lady wrestler's name.
Oh, she's a fucking badass. If you'll ask Dave, he'll send you some shit from her. She's phenomenal, and she does death matches. And now we're on to SmackDown that Friday. Yeah, so it's SmackDown Hall of Fame. They're doing the Dre, and then they're doing the Hall of Fame.
Doing the Dre. Doing the
Battle Royal
Dre.
on Friday.
Oh, Andre. Yeah, yeah. The Hall of Fame is after SmackDown. So
So,
we found out today Stacy Keebler's going in.
congratulations, Stacy.
Best legs in the business. Rey Mysterio is going in. Andy Kaufman, and then our boy Muta getting inducted by Ric Flair.
So deserved for Muta. Hopefully, this opens up for a lot more Japanese stars to get inducted.
Maddie, here's the Kleenex if you need it for Muta's Hall of Fame. Either for your eyes or for the other part of your body, whichever is going to get you more stimulated.
Hey, Cap. Vikingo versus Mike Bailey at Joey Janela's spring break.
I'm not familiar with Mike Bailey.
There's a match of his against Josh Alexander. It's free on YouTube. It's an hour-long match. He fucking kills it. And then Kota Ibushi versus Joey Janela.
And Uncle Dave's going to have a busy weekend.
Oh yeah, he will.
I mean, so are we. I mean, obviously SmackDown on Friday night, and then NXT Standard. That's when I'm definitely going to be watching Saturday afternoon, and then obviously nights 1 and 2 of Mania.
Yep.
God, it's Mania weekend, which isn't just WWE. It's pro wrestling. It's the biggest weekend of pro wrestling of the year.
Vikingo versus Laredo Kid that same night at Gringos Locos World on Lucha.
How many matches is he fucking working this weekend?
That boy's trying to kill himself this weekend. Holy shit.
Gosh.
Okay, so
we were discussing this a little over the weekend with Vikingo. Do you think WWE is gonna get him?
I don't know. I really would like to see him.
I mean, we went through like 4 or 5 easily good opponents he could work with.
Oh yeah, him with AJ, him with Seth, him with. I would like to see him with fucking Chad Gable. Imagine him just backflipping out of a fucking German.
Gargano too. I think he and Gargano could do some business. You mentioned Seth.
Oh, and there's going to be a live podcast from Dax Harwood.
For some reason, I don't know. This just clicked in my head. I'll get your thoughts on it. Vikingo, Logan Paul.
It would be a very interesting fucking match. And I think it would actually be a very good match. Connors versus Orange. I want that match to be a squash just because Orange isn't taking Clark Connors seriously and Clark Connors just murders him.
Orange doesn't take anything seriously.
And I love Orange Cassidy. I love me some Orange Cassidy, but I just booking.
I like him. I don't love him. I love Danhausen.
I want Orange Cassidy to just like do the stupid kicks, like the little faint kicks.
Yeah.
And Clark Connors to just take his head off. Gargano will come back to the main, collect more dust, and wait for Ciampa. Yeah, I did hear they're wanting to put DIY back together. Eddie wins his first world title. Jay White comes. Ooh. Yeah, that's right. Eddie did take Jay White out of New Japan. So Jay White follows him to Ring of Honor. Aussie Open, Lucha Bros for the ladder match. Briscoe wins, and Yuta beats Shibata. I cannot tell you how excited I am for Yuta versus Shibata.
Yeah, I definitely like Wheeler Yuta.
And for you, Cap, Mike Bailey is a top-tier talent worldwide.
Well, no, I've never seen him before, and Dave says that about Twinkle Toes. So
So the one thing that you'll be a little different about with Mike Bailey, he doesn't wear boots, but he wears kick pads.
Let me pull up a picture of this guy.
Oh, he also has a mullet, but he's the only person I can get past a mullet. Yeah, Dave, send Cap like 2 or 3 matches of Mike Bailey so that he can watch them later tonight. Because I think Cap will like Mike Bailey.
Looking at him off the bat, he looks like a weird cross between Rick Martel and Sean Waltman, like early on, like early 1-2-3 kid.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he looks like to me.
Yeah, he's like this year has been the year of Mike Bailey. We thought last year he did it one hell of a year. He has been nonstop this year. 0% chances Vikingo signs.
0.00. He's so damn good. Why wouldn't they want him? Why wouldn't he go there? I mean, he can make more money working for WWE than he could in a lifetime of working down in AAA.
It might just be a family thing. He might just want to be more close to his family.
True, but I mean,
which is a big thing for luchadors as well.
it is, but I mean, eventually you can't stay there forever, though. I mean, that's what I was saying. Vikingo at a WrestleMania would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, Vikingo versus Gargano would be a hell of a WrestleMania match.
Or Vikingo versus Shinsuke.
Holy shit. That's somebody who should be coming back soon. Shinsuke should be back sometime soon. He'll probably be post-Mania.
Unfortunately, Rick Boogs is back as well.
I like me some Rick Boogs. That I was introduced to him down in NXT as just a random motherfucker, and I fucking just his charisma is contagious.
I mean, I can't stand the gimmick. I mean, I felt so bad when he got hurt, but I was hoping they would bring him back in a flattering way rather than, you know. We'll see what's well, yeah, we got to mention this real quick. This weekend, our brackets went to shit.
Absolute dog shit.
So
this is the weirdest final. FAU versus Creighton is a match to determine who's in.
That's FAU versus. Well, you meant the weekend? Yeah, I say it's FAU versus San Diego State.
Yeah,
in the Elite Eight.
Like, I cannot.
Which will probably be about the first 20, 30 minutes in.
Give or take.
This has been the weirdest March Madness I can remember in my life.
It's baffling. Like, we were doing so well to start. What happened?
Teams that should have won didn't win and just didn't take care of business.
What is the Final Four that we're looking at?
Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, Miami, UConn.
UConn and Miami are the only two that mentally make sense.
So we could get an all Florida championship game with Florida Atlantic and Miami.
That would be so. At this point, I want Florida Atlantic to win this. We looked it up, and Florida Atlantic have been to 2 tournaments. Never a Final Four. Never a natty.
It's at this point with our brackets completely screwed. I'm more or less with you there. Like if things are going to be this shitty, then let's at least have Florida Atlantic win it to just put the kibosh on the weirdness that has been this tournament this year, and then hopefully next year reason will prevail.
Yeah, no, I was about to say after Muda's match, like so many WWE eyes went over to that Noah show just to see Nakamura versus Muta.
Shinsuke is, to Dave's point, he's has moss growing on him. Well, and again, it's
He's
something
letting
else I've
them
said.
sides poof out.
The talent roster is too freaking big. They need to get rid of some of this just excess baggage and weight because they've got people that either A, they shouldn't be using, or people that they're using when they shouldn't even be. And they've got guys that they are just booking bad, men and women both.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent that is not being utilized at all. Like talent that have to try to get themselves over on Twitter. Like Dana Brooke is trying her ass off to try to get this WrestleMania match since nobody knows who's going to be in that women's tag match. Dana Brooke has been campaigning her ass off on Twitter.
I mean, who they put in there?
Like I said, if you bring up Casey Catanzaro and and Caden Carter,
yeah, that's always possible there. For some reason, I had a weird, twisted thought they might try to put Stacy Keibler with someone since it's her Hall of Fame weekend, but you never know.
watch Becky and fucking Lita enter after squashing Damage Control.
I don't mind seeing some of the old hands come back. I just don't want to see them in the ring.
Yeah.
You know, just find use them, but not where they're taking up a spot that should be there for someone else.
Yeah, but this whole March Madness has been wild to say the least.
It's too mad. Like you can have too much madness in March Madness.
I made some money off of it, but God,
I made dick.
There was one day where I woke up and I saw that all of them lost, and I was like, "You're fucking kidding me!" Like
this March Madness was like a needle to the dick for me.
No XPW needed.
What is the Maddie Monday parlay?
Maddie's Monday parlay. We're going all 8 games of basketball and 1 game in hockey today. I believe it was a 1-25, which I put down $5 on.
Yeah, Clippers over Bulls, T-Wolves over Kings, Pelicans and Blazers, Nuggets over Sixers, Suns over Jazz.
That's one that the Sixers could take, but I do have faith in MVP candidate and possible winner Nikola Jokic.
And Avalanche over the Ducks. So I don't watch hardly any hockey at all, but apparently this Boston Bruins team this year is supposed to about to set records that being the best team ever, something like I don't pay enough attention to hockey, but all I keep hearing about is how great this Bruins team is this year.
I do not pay attention much either, but I will say this Bruins team is 50 goal mark as Bruins win 7th straight. One player has 50 goals this season.
Damn.
That is fucking K. Yeah, what's his name? David Pastrnak?
I can't pronounce the names of these guys because I don't really watch hockey.
Yeah, let us see what their standing is.
That'd be something to talk to Tree with. Tree is a hockey nut, so maybe opening day on.
Holy shit! Okay, they're 57-11. They've lost 11 games. They've scored 119 points. The second place in there is 97. Yeah, these boys, their point differential in game is 118.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, for hockey, these boys are leathering their opponents.
Yeah, that'll be something to chat with Tree about Monday night to get his thoughts on what's on this Bruins team. As much as he's a Penguins
And
fan,
man, I grew up a Penguins fan. Honestly, I loved Mario
Mario.
Lemieux and Sidney Crosby, like young Sidney Crosby. That man is still playing and still killing it on the ice.
God, how old is he?
Sid. Sidney Crosby is 35 years old. He only makes $3 million a year.
Well, don't talk about him like he's poor.
No, I mean like in terms of like an athlete, like a high tier athlete. That's a little low. I guess NHL is very firm on the no. We are not paying you MLB numbers. God damn it.
Trying to take a look here. So it looks like, yeah, there are some spring training games tomorrow before they finish up, and then yeah, so there's some tomorrow, and then none on Wednesday, and then Thursday's opening day.
All right. Yeah, baseball is here. We are going to be live for the 7 p.m. game, correct?
Yep, it is MLB opening day. Well, I guess opening night technically for us. It's the world champion Houston Astros against my Chicago White Sox. It's going to be on ESPN.
And it is a very special live stream for us.
Yes, it is going to be. We're going to be joined by the one and only Urinating Tree. If you're on YouTube, you know him, you love him. He's an awesome guy. I've worked with him for several years now in different little things. But he's going to be joining us for the stream against the stream for suicide prevention. It's basically going to be myself, Maddie, Dev, Tree, and whoever else may pop in, watching opening day between the Sox and the Astros, talking baseball, talking, sports, whatever's going on. And while we're on, we're going to be taking donations for hashtag 988, the suicide prevention hotline. Uh, it's near and dear to all four of us.
And
The
all four
three
of us will be donating to this charity as well.
the three RAWBallers as well as Tree himself. So yeah, anyone watching, we will appreciate anything that comes in. It's all going to a very, very worthy cause. And ready to kick off baseball. And hopefully, I think I've got 4 opening day starters. So hopefully, I will have something to be smiling about for at least my fantasy team, because I think my White Sox are going to get clobbered by Houston.
Yeah, that's not a very promising opening day game.
Oh, it's more the it's more just I hate that we drew Houston, but it's getting us on ESPN opening night. So
Yeah, I guess it gets eyes on the team. I don't know
well,
if that's a
and
good
another thing
thing.
that kind of sucks is I remember opening day 10, 15 years ago. ESPN would cover 3, 4 games in one day. They're covering one this year,
Oh,
just the night game.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
usually they hit the 11 o'clock game. They hit the
like 11, 3, and then yeah, they'll do like 3 or 4. They're only doing
yeah.
one this year.
Is TBS covering any opening day?
Nope, TBS only does playoffs.
Okay. So there's not going to be a whole lot of actual. You're going to have to need like the MLB TV app.
Yes. Why? Why? Of course. Why do you think that I have that?
Well,
Unfortunately, now I will have to watch the game actually on ESPN because if they're playing like the blackout teams here are Houston, Texas, Kansas City, and St. Louis. So
wow, 4 fucking teams. That's harsh.
you're in the worst possible spot. Like you get like Colorado is like death for MLB TV because it is.
Colorado is death for a lot of sports. We just lost our license. Like there was a big licensing deal with the TV companies in like altitude. And
Yeah, I heard about that.
so like it's real hard for people out here to find the Nuggets, the Rockies. If you watch like the Mammoth.
The Mammoth. I'm not familiar with the Mammoth.
Oh, they're the lacrosse team. Lacrosse is actually really big out here.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a professional lacrosse league.
I did not know that. Looks like also something else MLB TV does. They have a free game of the day. So where even if you don't subscribe, you get a free game every day that you can watch.
Just as long as you're
And
a subscriber.
yep, and the free game opening day is Orioles Red Sox.
Well, add a baby.
All right. Well, I think that just about covers it for this one. I wish we got to you all getting clobbered by the cleaner. I'll stick a needle right in that blow up doll, Kenny.
That's the baseball drafter extraordinaire.
Anywho,
It's gonna be a fun season, everybody. And
gonna be a fun season, fun week. We got a week ahead of us. Thursday and then WrestleMania's night 1 and night 2. It's gonna be busy, but we're gonna be here. We're gonna get through it.
And the future is only looking brighter for the RAWBall boys. Again,
Oh yeah, we have
sad.
things in the wakes. We have things in the wakes.
We are sad that Devin wasn't able to join us today, but thank you guys for joining us. Yeah, that was week 7 of the RAWBall podcast. Cap, is there anything else that you want to plug?
I think we pretty much covered everything. Like I said, Thursday night opening day, Stream Against Suicide, WrestleMania nights 1 and 2. Then next Monday, RAWBall week 8. We'll try and put a nice little bow on the weekend we just had. Monday Night Baseball is saving from Raw till October. Thank you, baseball.
Well, I've been Matty Laws.
And I've been the captain.
I'm going to remind you all to stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated. Ball out with the RAWBall podcast. And thank you guys. Until next time, goodbye.